Okay, lovely. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation. It's interesting listening to Helen, so that's kind of my experience as well. But I thought, when Helen mentioned VNTRs, I thought, I bet nobody really knows. Even variable number, tandem repeats. The pain, yeah. And I grew up in the same sort of environment, although in my case, rather than looking for these little chunks of repetitive DNA, I was looking at 7 genes, and that would be how I would characterize different strains. In my case, it's MLST. But of course, the world has changed for the better, and that's really good. And one of the things, I mean, all of you now are familiar with these genome centers, and Microbes NG is amazing, and we've used it a lot. I've got to tell you a bit about, so I've been with them right from the start, because I'm sort of friends with Nick Lohman. And years ago, some people in this room, Ben there, and probably others, we set up a sequencing service at Swansea University, right? And actually, we set it up a bit before Microbes NG. And Nick would talk to me about, so how are you doing this? But the big difference between Microbes NG and the Swansea Sequencing Centre is that we kind of started with not much money and then gradually lost more and more money. Whilst Nick did and Helen and everybody else did the exact opposite. And of course, it's amazing. Anyway, okay, so I'm not talking about that today, and I'm going to talk briefly today because I'm, like you, I am more interested in science than in anything that I'm about to say. But I happen to have been a member of the UK Microbiology Society for many years, and I suspect a lot of you have. For early career people, I definitely would encourage you to sign up. It's a great society to be part of. But I'm talking about journals. This is the portfolio of journals associated and supported and published by the UK Microbiology Society. And I am editor-in-chief of this journal, Microbial Genomics, okay? So I'm sort of flying the flag for this journal today and trying to encourage people to think of it as a possible target. I mean, we actually have our newest addition to the team in the room today. Our plenary, Fiona, has just agreed to become an editor in the journal, so I'm really pleased about that, so thanks, Fiona. Yeah, there are lots of reasons to publish in here, and there are probably 2 that I really want to emphasize, okay? The first one is that Microbial Genomics is an open access journal. So as soon as your paper is accepted, it's published and it's open to everybody, okay? Now, if you're at Oxford University or whatever, many of the universities that are represented in this room, that might not seem like such a big deal because you'll probably pay the open access fee anyway, and you're sort of supposed to if you're funded by UKRI or Wellcome, whatever. It makes a massive difference to people in LMICs around the world, low and middle income countries, okay? And this is something we really pioneer at Microbial Genomics. And actually we're, one of the few journals that makes everything open access straight away, okay? So that's one good reason. Another good reason is that this kind of open access completely increases the reach. So we've done some metrics, or not me, but the Microbiology Society, to show that you get sort of like 2.5 times more citations from an open access paper. Okay, so open access is one good reason. But what I really want you to think about today, and I know that what I'm about to say is going to resonate with a lot of you. Okay, is that what Microbes NG and these other society journals do is publish for the community. So it is us, okay, publishing papers for us to support this community. And that is really central to the philosophy of these journals, okay? So there are no stakeholders. It's not like Frontiers or BMJ or MDPI or Elsevier, right? With all of those journals, your £3,000, whatever it costs, a chunk of that goes to a bunch of business people and they make some money out of it, and at Christmas, I don't know what they do with it. Have a nice time. And good for them, okay? But we don't do that in these journals. Every penny that is made from a publication in Microbes NG, Microbial Genomics, and the other journals goes right back into the society, okay? And it pays for the conferences, it pays for travel grants, it pays for plenary lecturers at events like this, okay? So that's something that's kind of really important to us. Another thing to say is that certainly one of the things that I'm trying to push and have been pushing since I've been editor-in-chief is to have a kind of culture of generosity, okay? So we've all had these reviews where somebody said something really kind of nasty, okay, about our science, and we think, well, that's not really fair. They might not agree with it, but they don't need to try and, personally, you may disagree with me, and I'm happy to debate it, but I think that obviously science and anything that we publish should be rigorous. It should it should be novel, and it probably should have impact, okay? We all know what rigorous science is, but that, in my opinion, doesn't have to be, the only way to achieve that doesn't have to be this adversarial system, okay? So in microbial genomics, we encourage the editors to report kind of bad practice in review process, okay? So if we think that something's just, bitter or biased in some way, we encourage people to talk about that, and we have ways of dealing with it. That isn't really on this slide. This slide is to also say that for early career researchers, we like to publish everything that is proper science, okay? So if you've done your experiments, you've done your controls, you've got a hypothesis, and it's all worked out in your PhD, but guess what? It's a negative result. Or maybe it's a null result. Or maybe it's even a result that somebody 3 weeks before you just scooped you and published it. Well, if that does happen in the society journals, we also have a journal called Access Microbiology, which is here, and this publishes these kind of null results, okay? So that's especially for sort of early career people. So that's it, really. I'm going to end on that. But what I want to encourage people is to get involved. If you, like me, would rather that your money was spent on the society than on stakeholders, then you might want to think about these journals. And of course, there's loads of opportunities for early career researchers on our review panels and new editors. Okay? Good. Thank you. Now let's hear about some real science.